The Al Monitor web newspaper claims to bring the real pulse of the Middle East as it brings together top journalists from Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Lebanon, the PA, Syria and Turkey and publishes their opinions in English from their Washington headquarters. We joined the festive meeting of the Israeli editorial to celebrate their second anniversary. Professor Gadi Wolfsfeld from the Interdisciplinary Centre in Herzliya admits Al Monitor is changing something about how we're talking to each other in the Middle East.
We hope very much that more and more people will tune in and pay attention, because there are too many people on both sides of the conflict that only hear their own country and their own spokespeople. And it's very important, if we have any hope at reconciliation, that both sides be exposed to both types of voices.
Renowned Israeli columnist and a reporter at Al Monitor, Ben Caspit, admits that even if an Israeli would have come up with the idea of all nations in the area coming together on one website, he would never have been able to implement it.
Part of Al Monitor's charm is that it's also Arabic, Syrian, Christian and American, and that means automatically that there's no threat on the Israeli side. We would come to work even if the publisher was Nasrallah himself. Even more so, I would be having even more fun, but the minute your name is Jamal Daniel in the Middle East, there's no problem for you, especially when you're living in Houston for the past 35 years and have close relations with local leadership and Americans, and the fact that it's him, it's like he's been sent and was destined for this. His soul must still be running around on the Middle Eastern shores, and the fact that they read us and we read them, write to one another, we don't need any addresses of anybody, and we don't need negotiators, in my opinion. It's a strategic change. We don't correspond directly yet to, let's say, a Syrian journalist, but we read them and he reads us, and we write to them and they write to us. And even somewhere in the subconscious, instead of us continuing to sit every Friday in our own living room, Al Monitor to sit in the regional living room.
Mazal Mualem, who for years was a leading correspondent in the Israeli print world, has decided to cross the lines and become a web-only reporter.
You're a part of a large media organization. That wasn't really even possible 2 years ago. No one changes what we write. There's freedom to write what we want. No one changes what the Palestinian journalist says either. He too has the freedom to say what he wants, for better or for worse. I pick what to publish in our Al Monitor Facebook feed or Al Monitor Twitter account from other writers, and if there are things that seem exaggerated or untrue, that I know this for a fact, I will not give a hand in spreading that kind of false information. But generally speaking, almost in all cases, the writing quality of Al Monitor and the journalistic standards are at a very high level.
One of the most senior Israeli Middle East analysts, Akiva Eldar, admits that working side by side, even though virtually, with counterparts from countries who we couldn't even dare to mention by name is a huge victory for free speech.
As an Israeli, as a peacenik, I believe that we have to look beyond our relationship with the Israeli Arabs and the Palestinian neighbors, but to look at the entire Middle East, because this is the neighborhood. And I think that Al Monitor is doing something that I couldn't really give up the temptation to be part of this. I just came back from Washington, where we had the first Al Monitor conference with Johns Hopkins University, and I've met there with one of my Lebanese colleagues. I saw the Saudis and even Libyan, and this is just the first one. We communicate online, but in the future, we plan to bring together our people from all over the Middle East to start a kind of dialogue and exchange information.
As so many times throughout history, it takes for a good idea to change the course of history. And from the looks of it, Jamal Daniel's idea to create Al Monitor is going to be remembered as one of those great ideas. For JN1, I'm Jacobsohn at the IDC in Herzliya.